Hello universe, it's Gypsy. I'm going to do a makeup application on 54-year-old skin. I'm going to go ahead and turn the makeup light on and let the camera balance for a second. The products that I'm using I've pulled from panning projects, and wherever I can I will tell you the name brands, but I always felt like when I was watching videos of people applying makeup, I would try to translate it to what I owned and was just trying to learn technique from people, because I've got plenty of products. Like most people, I've got plenty of products to use. I normally cleanse my face, take all the makeup off before bed, and put on moisturizer before bed. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't have to wait for the moisturizers to do anything. My face, it almost feels, I mean, it could handle more moisturizer. But I'm really looking at work makeup, and I need to get out the door most mornings. This morning is Saturday morning, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, but I've got work I've got to do off the clock, studying for my job, and because it's the weekend, I've got errands I've got to get done in order to get through the week, the work week. So I'm doing what I can do now, and it's not like I set an alarm. I just woke up. I'm OCD. Things will stay on my mind. I swear I've got an internal alarm when I've got a lot of work to do that tells me to get up. The sponge that I'm using is a very similar to the egg sponges in its texture. I found the bag, I'll show you, at Ross's for $2.99. There was a whole bag of different shapes of these, and it helps me not need to put my fingers all down in this foundation. The foundation I'm using is a cream foundation by Mary Kay. Oh, I picked up a lot of product that time. Sorry guys, I have to work it in. And I go in all directions so that it'll work into the textures of my skin. It'll get down into the pores. I no longer have blemish prone skin like I did in my teens, 20s, and 30s, because I'm 54 years old now. And once you get past that hormone shift of menopause, I actually had surgical menopause. In other words, I had a hysterectomy at 40. Then my hormones changed, and my life got dramatically better because I was so ill for so long. I had to wait until the doctors decided that I could be allowed to have the hysterectomy I needed most of my adult life. They definitely wait for you to be past childbearing years. And I told them, I've got a child. I'm not married, don't want any more. I'm suffering. I've been suffering for decades. Who you gotta sleep with around here to get the medical treatment you need. I honestly don't believe it's the doctors. I think they feel a lot of compassion for you. I suspect it's the insurance companies. But it was one of the healthcare gods that control us. Finally got the hysterectomy. Body stabilized pretty much in a year. I didn't take the hormones for hot flashes. I'm a cold-natured person. Even living here in the deep south, I don't like the cold. The hot flashes were a blessing to me. I loved it. I loved being hot. But some people can't tolerate it. And there's a lot of other symptoms that go along with those hormone adjustments that folks can't tolerate. So if you're in need of the hormones, good for you. Take them. They're available. I just didn't want to take them. Didn't need them. Sometimes I wait until after I do my eye makeup to use the concealer. I'm going to do this makeup the same way I do when I'm rushing out the door. I have no idea how long it's going to take me because of the extra chatter that I'm adding in. I'm sharpening my pencil now. I try to avoid black eyeliners because I don't want to accentuate the texture in my eyes. I start at the outside corner and I try to make a thin line. I know a lot of people do their liner after their shadow. I do it before. And I tear a lot on the outside of my eye, so there's no point in putting eyeliner in the corner. The width of the band that I put across my eyelid varies. This is a plum color or coal color eyeliner in a panning project. Can't tell you the name because I'd sharpened down past it. But if I make a thick band like this, I'll sometimes pick it up on the corner a little higher. Just, it's not even a wing. I'm just picking it up just a little. I naturally have downturned eyes. So I'm literally just tracing part of the lash line and then picking up the corner right here before the end of the lash line. So my lash line stops over here. I'm picking it up before I get there. Not really a wing. Just to give a little bit of lift. I've been working on, the palette I've been working on this week is a really inexpensive palette. Nothing fancy. Something I picked up at the Dollar Tree. An LA Colors palette. I've been working on this all week. And I've tried all three colors on the lid. And I've tried variations of these colors in the crease, and there's only one color in this palette that I could possibly put on the brow, and it's honestly too dark to put up on my brow. Before I put the color on, I'm going to darken and shape just a little my eyebrows because you can see they're practically blonde and they're sparse. I've actually got a scar above each eyebrow from childhood because my mom couldn't do a whole lot with me. I tried to keep up with my brothers. I was the only daughter. And the scars are where I failed to keep up with them. She used to say that I was the hardest one to raise. So it's not precise, but what I do to, oops, I bumped the camera. What I do to lighten it a little, because it looks extreme to me. I don't like the dark eyebrow look. Reminds me of Lauren Bacall. I remember thinking she looked crazy when I was little. Incredible talent, but crazy eyebrows. After combing them just a little, it lightens up that pencil. And, oh, I'm so sorry. My camera mount is mounted right by my collection of brushes. So, by combing it, it takes off the excess product that's there. So I'm going to stick with the palette that I've been playing with all week, and I'm just going to put a light color on the lid, and then I'll put a dark color on the crease. And I am using these sponge applicators that came with the packet. I have a ton of brush applicators, but I felt like it was kicking up too much dust. I'm not priming my lids today. I'm still experimenting with the different samples of lid primers. And I also don't have to get 12 hours of wear out of this application. I hope that I'm not. I hope that I get some time this weekend to be at home and not have to have makeup on or be out in the public. So if I wanted to do one and done, the pink with the mauve colored or coal colored eyeliner, to me, I could do one and done like this. And I know you probably can't see it as well as I can because of the issues with the lighting. I go above the crease because now that I've aged, I've got the double crease. And that's just the loss of elasticity in the skin. And there's nothing that you can apply to get that back. That is normal aging. And I don't waste a lot of money on all the serums and conditioners that's being marketed to us because I understand the aging of skin. And I'm a registered nurse, but if you want to hear it from a doctor, go watch Dr. Dre. She's got a channel on YouTube. She is a dermatologist, and she'll tell you straight up not to waste your money on the serums they're peddling. You cannot rejuvenate cells. You cannot restore lost elasticity. Most of the products on the market that say they're endorsed by dermatologists aren't. Hopefully they're being tested by dermatologists. Hopefully these companies are hiring dermatologists along with their scientists that are mixing the formulas to at least test them before they put it on the market, but who knows. One thing people need to understand is that the FDA, the approval process, the FDA takes the reports from the manufacturer and reviews those reports. The FDA does not do independent studies. And yes, manufacturers skew those reports. That's where the class action lawsuits come from. I'm so skeptical about medications, I decline samples. because I feel like if the medication hasn't been on the market 10 years, I'm part of the clinical trial. I'm not comfortable being a guinea pig. That's just me. That's my opinion. I don't want to put the gold up to the eyebrow today. I'm going to reach into a L'Oreal palette and put some of the white. I think the gold in the LA Colors palette under the brow bone is too dark for me. I don't like the look of it. But I do like the look of the LA Colors. I think it looks a lot softer. And this is just my quirky technique that works for me. Now I'm going to blend. I'm blending it all together to soften it at the end. I blend at the end. It saves me time. I'm going to skip over to keep bumping it because, like I said, the camera's mounted right by my stash of brushes. So I have to reach across underneath the camera to grab brushes. I'm going to do my bronzing. I bronze underneath the chin first and down the neck because I've got a double chin. And I feel like it diminishes it a little. I'm making a mess. I've reached pan on my bronzer and it's starting to crumble. And I know a lot of my friends repress. I've tried repressing and then spritzing alcohol on stuff to harden them. It's not something that works for me. It just doesn't work for me. So when I have a product that's powdery like this, I just try to be careful. I leave it crumbly powdery and just use it. Doing the hairline. So a little bit of shading. I don't do the hollows of my cheeks right here. I don't do that because I wear my blush high. I'm just doing a little bit of contouring here and here and what I call my waddle. A little bit at the hairline simply because I'm half Czechoslovakian and I've got that really high hairline. I'm using Frankenblush, blush I've crushed together. It's still in powder form. I pick it up, tap it off. You see it's still very heavily loaded. I give it a whack on the side of a trash can. And I stipple because the color's going to be dark if I brush it on. And I just hit this corner right up here, right where my cheekbone starts. I go above just a little. I don't bring it down. Tapping off. Hits the trash can. Stipple. Now, I will be the first to admit, I'm putting on makeup and it's still dark outside. I like to check my makeup in sunlight, and sometimes I rub it in. I have bad lighting. I work. I get up really early to go to work. The sun's not up yet. The night lights, or the makeup light, kind of, it's so bright it washes out. Quick curl. Quick curl. This is an Estee Lauder mascara. I was complaining in another video that this mascara is starting to dry out, and I added some eye drops to it to get a little bit more life out of it, but it's clumping. So I'm going to play with it just a little bit more, and then I'm going to retire it because I've got other mascaras, tons of other mascaras. You've seen my inventory videos, which are linked in that playlist called Pretty Is as Pretty Does below. You'll see that I've got an excess of makeup, and that's why I've joined panning. Pretty is as pretty does is a saying that my mother had. When I was a child, I would complain about the teasing at school and the mean things that kids would say to me, and how Mama would ask, you know, why do you listen to those mean girls? Why do you let them hurt your feelings? Blah, blah, blah. And I'd say, well, you know, Mommy, they're the popular girls, and everybody likes them, and they're the prettiest in the class, and they've got the nicest clothes. And my mama used to look at me, and she used to say, pretty is as pretty does. So that has never left me. I'm 54 years old, and when I see mean kids, I think to myself, pretty is as pretty does, and you are being ugly right now. I don't care how much you spend on your clothes. I have a lot of fine lines. I don't normally overdraw. That was an oopsie. In my lip area. My intention is to go lighter with my lip products, but I'm using my panning products until then. I'm using the products that I want to get rid of until then. So that lip liner was a Sally Hansen lip liner, and I'm just going to go over it with a Franken lipstick. I took a bunch of lipsticks that I didn't like, melted them together, and poured them into a little pan to make a more usable color. I got a little bit of mascara clumping, and I need to blend my blush a little better. As I said before, when I get out in the sunlight, that's when I'm really gonna be able to make my adjustments. So my dark shadows, I can see them a little, so I'm going to pull, if I can find what I've been using. I rearranged my table a little bit so that the camera would be right above the makeup table, so I'm having a little bit of trouble finding stuff. This is just a very inexpensive concealer. I know some people like to lighten a lot. I like to match. And sometimes I'll set the foundation, if it's like a different type of foundation, I'll set it by spritzing a setting spray on a sponge and tapping. But because of what I've got going on today, this is just quick 20-minute makeup. A little bit more than 20 minutes because I'm chattering with you. But this is my work makeup for the day. This is kind of what I've been doing all week. Thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for your comments and your likes. I really appreciate the support that I've gotten through this beauty community and through panning. Have a great weekend, guys, and I'll see you again soon.